What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Pay Studios here in Midtown Manhattan. We are really excited to be joined today by SIMO. You guys got a new record coming out next week. It's called Rise and Shine.
We do indeed.
And you guys are going to play some songs from that record for us today, and we are really looking forward to getting our asses blown out of this room. So please, tell us what the first song is going to be, and I will step back.
It's all good, man. Well, that's what the shield is for, right? We're kind of chill, you know. I keep my fish back there. This first song is actually the first song on the record, and it's called Return. And when it was originally written, it was like really big and bombastic, and I don't remember really when. Yeah, we just because one of like the we have like records that rotate for us that we all like are obsessed with, you know, because we all listen to different stuff, but then every once in a while, and like I'm a huge D'Angelo fan, and so like Voodoo was like on constant repeat for a cycle, and I think that was like, dude, what if we did it really chill, you know? So, and we liked it, and then we ended up having it open the record. So it's a song called Return.
Sweet.
Great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That your light ain't shining like it's supposed to. Forgetting others' need, still cutting them off when they speak. Sometimes not even breathing, stuck in a false sense of being. And there's more to all of this, and it's easy to forget until you stop to say that your light ain't shining like it's supposed to be. Oh, now. And it's easy to forget until stop to say that your light is shining like it's supposed. Right now. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That sounds great. So I know, so this new record, Rise and Shine, which is out next Friday, it really has sort of an expanded sound. It's your second record,
Yeah.
and there's, to my ears, a lot more sort of funk and soul. There's a wider sound on this record. And you're known as someone who is like, you've been a session guitar player. You've been around playing for years. So I'm wondering, like, the music is a little different now. Is what you're doing on guitar much different? Have you expanded like the tools you use, the equipment you use, new techniques, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I definitely, I feel, yeah, I mean, I went from using like no effects and being very kind of, really kind of derivative in a certain spot. And I just kind of, because that's what I was into that, but I got really bored with that really quick. And I just, me as a player, yeah, I mean, I feel much more kind of open to kind of, I don't know, I guess the best way to kind of be truthful about it is like, as a session player, I was always trying to kind of serve what was being asked of me.
Yeah.
Because it's not my record. But like, when Adam and I started the band originally, before Elad even joined the band, it was kind of like a goof off thing, really, to kind of like have fun, like aside from our day jobs, as sidemen and session guys,
Yeah.
And so like I kind of like purposely was like, well, I'm gonna do all that stuff I can't do anywhere else.
And this is stuff that you've been doing for years.
Yeah, for the
and
last
years.
couple of years, since the band formed, and then. Once we got out touring last year on the last record, I got really bored with that because it was just not very creative. It was, for me at least. And so now it's like, I almost think about for our own music, I think of that thing of like, well, what's going to make this cooler?
Yeah, right.
Rather than trying to get my jollies off. Because like now every time we do something, I have fun. Because does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean,
so I'm more open,
So are these like the pedals you're using, the effects you're using? Is this stuff that you sort of were new to, like, or you were not familiar with these techniques or technologies and you learned them, or these were things that you always knew how to do but you were finally like incorporating?
It's a bit of that. I was finally like open to incorporate them, but I was really keen to like the things that I'm using and like. The guitars that I'm like this next song we're gonna do, like I've got this thing set up with like heavy gauge flat wounds because I like the way Bottleneck sounds on it, kind of like Rycooter and like each of the things I use, they're kind of like specific. Like the thing I used on Return, that like weird envelope filter thing, that's actually his pedal. Like it's a bass pedal.
All right.
That like. I was experimenting with, and I went, I like that.
Yeah.
And it's not meant to be used with guitar, but I like it.
Yeah.
And, obviously I use a wah-wah pedal, but like this, I've got this, I haven't used it yet, but this fuzz thing over here is like something I just found that I liked that was different.
Yeah.
So it was like consciously trying to find things that I didn't think were, like concepts that were not new to me, but like the actual palette of stuff was me kind of actively trying to find things that I wasn't like copying somebody,
right? Yeah,
where it was like, oh, that I think that'll make that tune better.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into the next song you're going to do. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a tune called "I Want Love," and I'm gonna multitask by talking and making sure this sucker's in tune because nobody likes when stuff's not in tune. Look how quick that was. See how quick that was?
Very smooth.
Very smooth. So, but it's my favorite. It's on the record really to sing at least, and it's I'd always wanted to do something in falsetto, and when we were in England, we had the first version of the song finished kind of in the fall, and then I remember like in a dressing room in England like singing the whole thing in falsetto and really liking it, and then I kind of rewrote it and we finished it in pre-production for the record. As far as what it's about, I don't really feel comfortable talking about what it's about, but it's just I love it, and it's kind of hard we do it differently live because on the record there's like this big like 12 voices come in at the end and do this kind of I always wanted to kind of do the round and round Beach Boy kind of thing, and so live like I play slide and we do it a little differently because I don't have 15 vocalists here with me, but I'm really proud of it. I like it. So
cool, man.
All right. So this is called "I Want Love." just want love. That's all I want now. I've been trying to tell you for so long. I just need love.
Thank you, guys. That sounds really great. I love the dynamics, man. Like I mean, it sounds like a cliche. The quiet to the loud, man. That was fucking great.
Thank you, brother.
So I wanted to ask about how you guys made this record. I know that, I mean, I was reading about your last year, 2016.
Yeah.
I think you did something like 215 shows.
Yeah.
Around nine countries.
Yeah.
So were you writing the record on that tour, or did you do a lot of the writing after you got home? Do you ever get home?
We didn't last year. We Well, we would work on stuff in like sound checks and hotel rooms sometimes. I wrote pretty much the whole time, like kind of on my own, because that's kind of what I do anyway.
Yeah.
But we would always, like, everything gets worked through with the three of us. So we really didn't have time until January to fully dump all the songs out and really work on them with the idea of like finishing a complete thing,
Right.
So it's kind of both,
Yeah.
like, because I definitely was writing and rewriting the whole year, and in my own mind trying to think about what I could do to make stuff better, and all of us, and then we'd come up with stuff at sound checks, and I
Yeah.
mean wherever we could find time, because there was no time.
And that's sort of that's my curiosity. Like when you're on a tour that long and that intense, do you have to? I mean, I imagine you don't have to force yourself. These things are sort of coming out of you, and it's a matter of getting them down. Or I mean, are you?
It depends. I mean, I definitely there. Force maybe is too strong a word, but you got to like do it. Like it doesn't do itself,
Yeah.
And it's hard to, it's hard to describe what it's like to be gone for 300 days. Like it just, unless you've done it, I mean, it's just, you feel everything is abnormal. Like there's just, your body kind of goes into trauma mode, and like you just don't, because you're never in one place for longer than a day.
Right.
So like your whole system of security and normality is just gone,
Yeah.
So like, but the reason why I say that is because I think that I know, especially for Alad, I know for me and Adam too, but especially Alad, like we all had like different things to get us through the year, and I think Alad more than the three of us, it was like, I just want to get through the year because I want to make this next record.
Yeah.
Right? And so, it was, because we got like 100 shows into the year last year, and we were really dissatisfied like with what we were doing artistically.
And then you had like another 120 shows to
Yeah.
go.
We had like another 200 days gone.
Yeah.
And
Right.
But the thing is that's another thing that I think, like being in your tape archive and just like the history of music, the music industry, and all the, like whether it's Miles Davis or John Coltrane or the band or Bob Dylan or whatever, like the ability to, I mean, just the ability to figure out what it is that you are.
Yeah.
Sometimes takes a minute.
Yeah.
And, now I feel very confident, in that, at least consciously, I'm not consciously trying to cop someone's thing.
Right.
And we aren't. Like, we would, like, and that's really tough, man, because, it's really kind of easy, I think, to be creative and make records where you're trying to kind of paint by numbers and, oh man, we're going to make this, let's make it sound like such and such and all that. And that can be cool, like it can be executed well, but it's like, and I'm not saying that what I've done or what we've done is like comparable, but I think that like, the bar that's been set by Neil Young and like in current times, the Alabama Shakes and stuff,
Yeah.
Like that, Sound and Color was a big influence on us contemporarily, because I mean, where did that come from? They made this great first record, and then the next record,
a huge leap.
and then
Yeah.
the next record, it's like, what?
Yeah, and it
they
starts
made this,
right off that way with that first song on that record.
and it's like, and it's brilliant.
Yeah,
you
right.
listen to it, and you're like, this is one of the coolest things I've ever heard. Like that record in particular, I feel, in 20 years will be,
Yeah.
there'll be the classic albums behind the scenes documentary of how they made.
Right, yeah, behind the music on
Yeah.
like VH1 9 or whatever.
Exactly.
It is. Yeah. So last thing.
So anyway, sorry, but I got
well,
off on a tangent.
so about that. Before we get to the next song, I wonder, like, when you're on the road so long and you're going city to city, show to show, how does that make its way into the music that you write? I mean, if you're sitting at home with not a lot of shows to look forward to, and you got a lot of time and space to think, does it have a huge impact on what these songs wind up being?
I think they both can have. Again, I think that as a writer, for me, they both can be just as valid because it can be I think part of the reason why young people, myself included, tend to not make music that's really that valuable, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term, but I mean that just I think it's harder to write something that really is valuable without a lot of life experience, and whether that's observed or whether that's you actually living it through your life, you know. And I think that, you know, I look at, you know, like I'm in my early 30s now, and I don't think that in my generation, growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, like I don't feel like I started to actually somewhat think not like a child until just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which I don't think was always the same. I think 50 years ago, a 20-year-old's life experience was different than a modern-day 20-year-old's.
Right. You were probably married with 4 kids.
Or Lord knows what. But you know what I mean? Because it's like you look back and it's like, you know, Bob Dylan was doing that stuff in his early 20s, you know, like
right.
the Beatles, you know, whatever. I mean, it's like, but I do think that it's a different time. I think that it takes a little longer for you to have something to say, if you have something to say.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that can come from anything and everything. It just has to do with what you're going through, you know? And it doesn't necessarily have to be pain. It just has to be something that's truthful and interesting, you know? And that can be a lot of different things, you know? I mean, me personally, I mean, sitting at home, where I'm like, I think I'm probably most chaotic when I'm left alone with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, like on the road, I'm more distracted. I think we all are. I think that's maybe the good thing about touring, is you can run away from yourself a lot easier.
And there's a sort of a routine, right? A regimen.
Correct.
Every day.
Correct. But when you're kind of left on your own, you know. So, and for me personally, I mean, this whole record is very like, we had to do a listening party, which I hate, and because I just don't like listening to stuff I've done or watching stuff I've done with other people. It just doesn't feel comfortable. I don't think it's comfortable for anybody unless you're like truly a narcissist.
Yeah. Right.
Like some people in our country right now. But anyway, having said that, we had to listen to our record with a group of people, and I felt so grossly uncomfortable because some of the stuff that I wrote about was so personal that I felt like sick to my stomach. Like I was like, I don't mind like performing it because it's like therapeutic, but like just being forced to listen to it. And like there was a thing after I got over it, and like it was over, and I like went home and was like, that was terrible. I don't want to ever do that again. At least not with this record. And I was like, well, I think I actually finally, as a writer, have written something that actually is as valuable as I can write. Because if it makes me that personally uncomfortable, then I'm not like,
there's something to it.
I'm not hiding behind something, at least.
Right.
I mean, whether or not that's interesting to somebody else is not up to me, but I know that I've at least not like hidden behind a stack of bourgeois cliches, as Ringo says in A Hard Day's Night.
So tell us a little bit about the next song you're going to do from Rise and Shine.
So we're going to get really indulgent and play I Pray, which closes the record. And I Pray, like, the song ends with 2 different songs. There's a song called The Light, and then there's I Pray. And The Light is like me praying for myself. And then I Pray is like me praying for everyone else, like not wanting to go out on a like a self-centered notion.
Right.
And I Pray was something that we worked on together, and I had the initial concept to turn it into kind of like a prayer. And I talk about things that I think are important. And it's not necessarily meant to be divisive, even though I make jokes from time to time about certain things, because it's a heavy time we live in. But, you know, the more we travel and the more kind of culture I witness, the more I kind of feel, at least in my own feelings, is that how really the same we all are. And that how ridiculous it truly is that we just can't get over ourselves, you know, because we all want like to be loved. We all want to, you know, have a roof over our head. We all want it, like our families to be safe. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me how divisive we've turned ourselves into as a species. Like the more intelligent, we were talking about this yesterday, that like the more intelligent we've become, like it's almost like the more we've muddied it, because our heads get in the way of like, the primal kind of unity thing. And so it's just a call to that. And I was very conscientious to try and have it be very balanced, because it's just me having a moment of tenderness, for everyone, because we all, we all rise together, we all fall together. Like we one way or the other, we are all in this together, and that can be our triumph, that can be our solitude, or that can be our destruction,
Yeah, cool.
So, and it goes on for a little while. So we're gonna get,
That's
and
right, man.
it feels very appropriate surrounded by this tape archive.
Yeah, we're here for the long haul. So
Groovy.
Let's have it.
Well, thank you for having us. All right, here we'll go for it. law enforcement, for whom I'm grateful and respect. I pray for racism, that it will be healed from within. I pray from deep within that all I say is genuine. I pray that I can stand up and love with all I have and all I've got. Hey! I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray.
Oh my God. That was amazing, guys. Let me gather myself.
Me too.
So that was 3 songs from the new record. I don't know if you guys have a fourth in store. You're welcome to.
Yeah,
No pressure.
Let's do Don't Waste Time.
All right, man.
We'll do one more.
I'll just let you. You know, I don't know if you guys need a breather, but
No,
you
we're
know,
fine.
I don't have another question prepared, so you guys can, you know, just.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, hit me.
Can we please come back sometime? Because this was
Yeah,
actually
man.
really
You know,
fun.
that's like my little like the phrase I do at the end of these things is always like, "Come back anytime." And
we will, because this is really fun.
I always mean it. I never don't mean it, but I definitely want you guys to come back anytime.
Thank you, because this is really, I don't think I've ever had more fun. We've done lots of promo stuff here and over there, and it's like, this is like, because you really get to play.
Yeah, man.
You let us really play. Yeah. And it's just like, as a geek, it's like, yeah, this is where I want to hang out.
Yeah, totally. We do a lot of hanging out in here. You know, you don't know it, but there are actually like 500 people behind me. People can't see it, you know.
They're being really quiet.
They're being very quiet because, you know, you guys are just drowning them out. We got the levels all weird.
Right.
But yeah, huge crowd.
Huge crowd.
Everyone loves hanging out. But yeah, no, we're thrilled to have you guys. We love, you know, we do a lot of stuff that is a little quieter. You know, this room kind of is conducive to a slightly quieter like vibe. But, you know, we love, especially end of the day, bringing in a band to just like rock it and
thank you for
get crazy.
allowing us to do so, because this was fun, and I hope that it hasn't been too bad. We've done the
well,
best
listen,
we can do.
if we get evicted after this one, we've gone out on top. So we're good. And you know, and I gotta say, you know, a lot of folks tuning in are really happy to see this pedal board situation happening at your feet. Seriously, we're getting comments like, you know, JD with a pedal board. You know, like this is, you know, what is happening. So yeah, you know, everyone.
You know what, man? It's everything down there is like, it's being used.
It's being used. Yeah, good.
There's no overdrives or boosters or anything trying to like make something sound like something it's not. It's like everything is like very purposeful.
Yeah, cool. So
and a lot too. I mean, look at him.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even with like the hardwood, I mean, that's like a modernist.
He literally made that. He did. He did. He's a mad scientist. You want him to like redo the electric in your apartment or something?
Yeah.
Like
That's cool. You know, if you do it for free, then that's all fine. So you know, I'm not gonna bother asking you about more stuff unless you want to talk. We can just dive into the next song if you'd
Whatever
like
you
to.
want, man. I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Cool. I'm having a great time.
So we'll wrap up with more info on the record and tour and stuff. But tell us about you're gonna do another one from the new record.
Yeah, we're gonna do "Don't Waste Time," which it's just there's a single out right now called "Shine," which we haven't played, unfortunately. Well, because we're gonna play it so much, we wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to play some different songs.
Yeah, cool.
But this is one that'll be out later this year as a single, and it's one we really like, and it's good for you New Yorkers because it's about what the title is. Stop wasting my damn time. Just tell me what you need to say.
Yeah, right.
Don't
move to the side.
Direct.
Right on the
Be
side.
direct.
Yeah. Right.
Down south. I love living down south. I think we all love it, but there is something about just tell me in the fewest words possible what you got to tell.
Yeah, it's true, and there are pros and cons to it, but it is how the city has always been, no matter all the changes.
And this city has always been really good to me. So
yeah,
been very, very good to me. Baseball. All right, this is Don't Waste Time. Here we go. Please don't expect me to wait on you, 'cause it feels like you're holding me, and I got nothing to lose. Say what you mean, I love me. I don't waste time. I don't waste time. No. Ooh, yeah. Dig it. As it feels like you're holding me when I'm ready to move, and you don't mean a thing to me, and I got nothing to lose. Yeah. Say what you mean. I love me. I don't waste time. I don't waste time. I don't waste time. Hey! Say what you mean. I love me. I don't waste time. I don't waste time. I don't waste time. I don't waste time. Everything's a bit anticlimactic after I pray.
Yeah. I
That's
didn't
usually the ender. You know?
right. I was waiting for that was the rest, and then there was but all right. So all right. So that was 4 songs from. If I'm talking really loud right now, it's because I have about 30% of my hearing
Sorry.
capacity. But that's all right. I hope I'm not like blowing out anyone's phone speakers. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all his
Yeah.
fault.
They're, as I've noticed, they seem to be louder the closer that you get to them.
It does. It is kind of a proximity thing.
Yeah, it's right. Like many feet away, less loud. Yeah,
If you were down the street, it wouldn't be so bad.
wouldn't be as bad. Yeah, or good.
And we like to set up we like to set up like this, where he's up front.
Yeah, right.
I hate drummers behind.
Behind. Yeah, it's true. It's
Levon used to sit up front.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember actually years ago seeing the Black Keys perform, and it's a little different because they're a duo.
Yeah, but same thing. Where Patrick's up front.
Patrick's drums are right up front, Dan right there, and it was just like a wall of sound.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, you got a new record coming out September 15th. That's
Correct.
next Friday.
Next Friday.
It's called Rise and Shine. Everyone should go out and get it. If you have just watched all of that, I cannot possibly imagine why you wouldn't. So you guys are also, I know, going on tour. I know you got some European dates coming up.
We're going to Europe first. We're actually announcing the U.S. tour on the release day, next Friday.
All right, cool.
There's a couple shows that are like going on sale tomorrow out west, but like the whole is being announced.
And where's the best place to find those dates?
Well, there's the website simo.fm, but all the socials, Simo the band, Facebook, like us on Facebook, share us on Facebook, Instagram. There's actually 2 different Instagram and Twitters though, because if one isn't enough, there needs to be 2. There's Simo the band, and then there's JD Simo.
Oh man, I don't know.
Because if you just need more. Like, if you just, because more is more, man.
Yeah, clearly, more is more.
So there's all that, and then of course, Spotify. There's 2 tracks from the record that are already on Spotify, and we just got on some the new week Spotify top of 5 list or whatever this week. But Shine and People Say from the record are already on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify, of course.
All right. Yeah, cool, man.
And there's going to be a lot of touring.
That's right.
So
getting ready.
We'll come see you all. But we actually have a release show in Nashville the day after tomorrow, which we're really looking forward to.
All right, cool.
We get to play back home.
All the Tennesseans should go check it out. And when you guys come back
from
around
New York,
the East Coast,
or just come down.
drive down. Drive. Whatever you need. Yeah, that's right.
There is a fan from up here, our friend Adam, that's doing that.
Yeah. Right into the hurricane.
Yeah, right in. Well, we don't have hurricanes in Nashville.
Yeah, well, I guess that's right. Only eclipses, as I'm told.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so awesome.
So
sorry.
All right, so Rise and Shine is out next week.
Rise and Shine.
You guys have a great time on tour, and I definitely mean it when I say come back anytime and play for us again.
We would love it. Thank
you for
having
playing 3 guitars on 3 different songs. That was awesome. Bringing all the gear. But yeah, let's do this again.
Thank you very much.
All right, man.
We love you. Thanks.